It's a bird. It's a plane. No, actually, it's just the hype train. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we got to talk about the world record price for a comic book to ever have been sold. Darkhawk #1 double cover, because I sold it in a private auction for $6,001. Now, who did I sell it to? I'll never tell you, okay? And that person also, they were willing to let me keep the book on display at my house and on my YouTube channel. So the Darkhawk 1 double cover actually is the highest sale for a comic book ever in a private sale between me. But the second highest sale for a comic book ever is this Action Comics #1 that just sold yesterday for the whopping price? The steal of a price? A deal? $6 million? I made the joke on my stream yesterday about $6 million being like, is that cool? Is that like billionaire cool? I mean, can we get another zero in there? You know what I mean? Like, there were a lot of people talking about how this book was going to sell for 10 million. There was a lot of people that was talking about how on the low, this book was going to go for 8 million, but 6 million. I mean, we barely beat the record for a Superman 1. What is that? His 19th appearance? But that doesn't stop the media from having the hype train of headlines going around the interwebs right now. So in this video, I want to talk about the Action Comics 1 sale. I know I'm being a little bit facetious, guys. We got to have a little bit of fun. But I really wanted to talk a little bit more about, sort of the hype that sort of surrounds the sale and what that could possibly mean for, comics and the hobby for the future. But of course, before I get into the video, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I would appreciate it. Help support the channel doing those things. Also, Sanity, speaking of hype, only 12 days left, guys, on my comic book campaign. We saw another one come through, giggity right there at 169 backers. But if you guys would like, to support me and the channel, a Lovecraftian comic book adventure, it's definitely a story I'm super passionate about, and you won't have to spend $6 million to support it. So head on over to the description if you guys would like, and I would appreciate your support. All right, let's get into this video here today. As you guys know, Action Comics #1, the Kansas City pedigree copy, a CGC 8.5, went on sale yesterday at Heritage Platinum Auction, which is still going on through the weekend, and set the world record price for a comic book ever to be sold at $6 million. And while $6 million is a big number, and it did set the world record, a lot of people, kind of on the inside space, were a little bit surprised with that figure. I mean, maybe there's people out there that figured that $6 million was the right price to pay for this book. But, people were, again, they were talking about 10 million. They were talking about 8 million. I mean, even right now, you can make an offer to the owner for 7.5 million. I mean, there's an opportunity here, guys. If you think that this book is worth 10 million, I mean, you'd be able to get it for 2.5 million less. I mean, maybe you want to hit this button. But either way, what I think is most interesting about the sale is how quickly you see the media jump on to this figure. Here you see the Hollywood Reporter, publications like that. Superman's Action Comics 1 sets record with $6 million sale. Gizmodo, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's the most expensive comic ever sold. Yahoo News, comic book featuring Superman appearance from 1938, sells for $6 million. IGN, Action Comics 1 auctions for $6 million to become the most expensive comic ever. You even have Screen Rant right here. Superman becomes most valuable comic of all time, setting $6 million ... You go into the news tab and you can see pages and pages of articles and publications talking about the sale. And ultimately what I'm saying and where I'm going with all this is that this is by design. I mean, it's not just that, the Action Comics #1 is out there to go on sale and to, get someone the ultimate collectible that they've always wanted to have in their collection. It's to draw eyeballs. It's to draw attraction. This is a tentpole item that is meant to create energy and enthusiasm in the comic book market. I mean, they knew that this was going to be a record sale. All these articles knew it was going to be a record sale, and they were ready to instantaneously come out as soon as the bid now button actually was pushed. I mean, this is the type of media blitz that sort of gets the casuals' attention. They see headlines for Action 1 selling for $6 million, and they start thinking to themselves, man, if Action Comics #1 can sell for $6 million, imagine what my Death of Superman could sell for. Probably $6, which I guess, depending on what you bought the comic book for. I mean, if you go all the way back to when that thing was being sold, wasn't it a $2, cover price? So hey, you 3x'd your money. Never let anyone tell you that Death of Superman was a bad investment. All right, let's read through this bleeding cool article right here to cover some of the details of the sale and some of the interesting things as it relates to the comic book market. $6 million Superman Action Comics 1 sets new record sale, and Action Comics 1 CGC 8.5 has just shattered the Vintage Comics record. I don't know if I would have used the word shattered, but okay. Shattered the comic books record with 6 million sale at Heritage Auction. This is an all-time record copy for Action Comics 1, as well as the highest price ever paid for any comic book, surpassing the $5.3 million private sale of Superman #1, the CGC 8.0 Edgar Church copy in 2022. This copy of Action Comics 1 is one of the 4 highest graded copies by CGC, with 2 CGC 9.0 copies and 2 CGC 8.5 copies currently in the top of the CGC census. It is the highest graded copy to hit the open market since 2014, when a CGC 9.0 copy sold for $3.2 million. The other CGC 9.0 copy, the infamous Nick Cage copy, sold for $2.1 million in 2011. Both CGC 9.0 copies are known to be in the Impossible Collection, an assemblage of high-grade vintage DC comics put together by billionaire Ayman Hariri, and not expected to hit the market anytime soon. Another CGC 8.5 copy sold privately for $3.25 million in 2021. So a lot of movement for, the top of the census for these Action Comics #1. And, it is pretty interesting, why there was so much hype around this sale was because while it isn't the top of census, some of these other books, like this one, like these two right here in the Impossible Collection that the article mentions, this is actually a museum over in London, I believe, that actually owns the 2 copies that are 9.0s. And, this guy's a billionaire. It's in his museum. These copies are meant to be displayed for the public. It's probably not going anywhere anytime soon. So, in all likelihood, the copy that just went on sale was going to be the best opportunity for anyone who wanted to buy this book, for them to get it. Now, there is discussion of raw copies that are out there that, actually would be graded higher. There was one from the Mile High collection, apparently, that is still out there, that is in raw form, that, based on, the mythos behind it, what people say, everyone who has seen it, which you can't find scans of it online, but everyone who has seen it claims that it is the greatest looking copy that there is. So it would be interesting to see that hit market. I'm sure at some point it's going to find its way into CGC's hands because, hey, we need the hype train to continue. We need to get those record sales. We need to hit that $10 million figure, which I guess is why this copy only hit 6 million. While it is, a big number, while it is breaking the record, I do think that in general, the fact that there are other copies out there that are higher than this makes it hard for people to go absolutely crazy. It's hard for 2 bidders to go back to back and carry each other up to the $8 million price point. Now, one of the other interesting sales that actually occurred at this Heritage Auction related to Superman is this page sale right here. Shout out to Ryan and Drew. Who knew that comic book pages were still going to be the thing that in 2024 everyone was going to lose their mind over. But this letter, actually written in 1934, which puts it about 4 to 5 years ahead of Action Comics #1, is actually a letter that is kind of the original pitch for Superman right here. And this letter actually sold for $264,000. Can you guys believe that right there? It's an unbelievable sale for a 3-page letter. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that this is the true first appearance of Superman right here. But as far as the Heritage Auction sale itself, I mean, I would say that, it was book by book, right? It's case by case in terms of, what things sold for. While there were some record prices, I do think that there were some underperformers. This Captain America Comics #1, of course, went on sale previously, this exact same copy, and took a $60,000 haircut. This Detective Comics 27, I think, went below a lot of people's estimates right here. $600,000 for the 3.0. Superman sold in line. This Avengers #1 going for $432,000. That is a crazy number for this book. That is actually the record for this particular book. The previous one for this was $275, and this is a book that had been correcting quite a lot. This $360,000 sale for Daredevil #1, that is also the record for this book, although apparently there was a private sale that went for more. This Justice League #1 going for $348, also a record for this book. 9/8 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 at $126, slightly below the previous sale. This Silver Surfer #1 at $108, slightly below the other sale that happened, although the signature could have hurt it. And there was a lot of other great books that, depending on what they are, set some records, maybe didn't set some records. You had the House of Secrets '92. Someone got a great buy on this one right here because they picked up what seemingly is a 9/8 copy that I wouldn't be surprised if this was cracked out of the CBCS case and sent to CGC, because the CGC equivalent actually sold for $84,000, while this one sold for, $26,000 less. You had this Haunted Thrills #6 that went absolutely bananas. Top of census book, selling at $50,000. And while that excites me because I own the bottom of census book, so rising tide lifts all boats, I guess. But what was crazy about this sale is that this is tied for the highest book on the census, yet this one right here is a misprint. There's actually a misalignment with, you can see the blue lettering right here. It should be fit perfectly into the Pit of Horror. The blue on his eyes right here. That's not actually how this cover should look. So it's a little bit of kind of that 3D glasses effect that is kind of happening with this book. And sometimes that would happen in the old printing machines where the printer would get misaligned, and then you would see kind of the errors and like the double stamping on the cover. I'm showing you this other copy of the 9/2 that, as you can see in the eyeballs, doesn't have the blue, and the Pit of Horror lines up perfectly with the lettering as opposed to this one right here. And, I guess I bring that up to sort of talk about how, when people look at the book, I mean, unless this person who bought it really likes error variants, I think the only thing that they cared about was this number right here, Look at the upper left corner, guys. The number is the number. Who cares what the book actually looks like? But hey, $50,000, absolutely shattering the previous record sale for that one right there. But a lot of other cool books, and sort of the last one I wanted to talk about was this Weird Tales 118 sale. Of course, we had been talking about pulps a little bit on the channel, how pulps were sort of a new venture into grading with CGC. And this book, at the 7.0 range, white pages, selling for $30,000. Is that a big sale? Is it a low sale? It's really hard to tell because, the market is still being set for a lot of the pulps, what they're going to be going for, how many are going to be on the census. And that's always, one of the concerning things. You don't want to really be the first person to jump necessarily because, who knows? What if there's, higher grade Weird Tales 118s out there that are still yet to come to market? Would those same people be paying $30,000 for the 7.0 copy? It's really hard to tell. But very interesting sale overall. A lot of big numbers. I mean, it's still going on over the course of the weekend. And I wanted to do a quick little recap of the Action 1 because it is a moment in history. And as you guys can see, the media is all over it. And you sort of have to wonder, is this, part of the machine? Is this what happens? Usually when you have these big record sales, these big prices, these big numbers, it gets the attention of the casual comic book collector, and everyone, gets excited and people want to, jump back into the comic book store. Maybe the speculators start spinning the gears once again. So, that could be a good thing for the hobby. Maybe more people are going to be excited about comic books. And maybe if you have Death of Superman #1s, you'll finally be able to sell them. Anyways, that's all right for this one. What did you guys think about the sale? Were there any sales in the auction overall that stood out to you? Did you bid on the Action Comics #1? Did it go above or below your expectations? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Check out Sanity. Link in the description. I would truly appreciate your support. Thanks so much for watching. See you all in the next video.